So this is the Year 8 information evening, and just really going to run through with you what we're going to go through today. We're going to be looking at introducing you to key staff and giving you some key curriculum information, talking about home learning and home study, talking you through the assessment processes for Year 8, reading, covering again the learning habits and the scholar that we talked about with you in Year 7, looking a little bit at enrichment, digital safety, some reminders about communication, uniform and attendance, and we're also going to be sharing some key dates for Year 8 students. So just some instructions first of all. Your team remains for the most part unchanged from Year 7. Mr. Harris is the deputy for Key Stage 3, he's your deputy head teacher. Then you've got myself, I'm Mrs. Chaveras, so I'm really the only change. It was Miss Henderson last year who did transition with your young people and saw them through Year 7. I'm the assistant head attached to Year 8, so I'll be with this year group all this year. And then we've got Claire Wilson, who's head of Key Stage 3, head of school Key Stage 3. Jane Osborne, obviously you all know very well, head of Year 8. And we've also got Ainsley Mantak, who is our Key Stage 3 learning mentor, who'll be working with the year group this year. Okay, so just a few reminders about our curriculum. We've got an extensive curriculum. We could spend hours going through it tonight, but we know you can actually access this on the website if you want to have a look at it yourselves. You just need to go to Student Life, our curriculum, and look at the Year 7 curriculum. And here you'll find all the information you need for each subject. There's information there about how to support your child further and finding out about what they're learning this year. It will be changing next week, so we'll send some information, read this, and some links over the next couple of weeks. Okay, so just going to talk a little bit about what students do during form time. Obviously in Year 7 they did Future Foundations, and you obviously know a little bit about that. In Year 7 we still carry on with a action-packed form time curriculum, trying to build in on those qualities of success. And it builds a strong sense of community belonging. It helps to strengthen student character and equips our students with skills and qualities and understanding to become successful, creative and happy individuals. In Year 8, we do something called the CHS Edge, and this is something that's adapted from the Pixel Edge, and it aims to support the promotion of excellence for pupils. It's a programme that improves life chances for young people through improved educational achievement, and it gives hopefully a better understanding of life attributes in order to connect them to worthy progression routes in the next stage of their education. They can qualify for this at 3 different levels: level 1, which is apprentice, level 2, graduate, and level 3, masters. And basically there's a whole range of activities that they need to complete in order to qualify for this, the Chorlton Edge. Just a reminder about the support we give for young people in terms of mental fitness, and we've got an extensive mental fitness offer, and it's really crucial to supporting our young people in school. And this is divided up into different waves. We have universal. So we talk about mental health and mental well-being in our Respect curriculum, also in our pastoral curriculum. We have focus weeks and assemblies, and we also have some supporting curriculum areas as well. So that goes to all students. We then offer some interventions, and they're called waived interventions. Our wave 1, for which there's no referral needed, that's just that low-key intervention. It might be that there's some one-to-one time with head of year or mentor. It might be that a child needs some time out. It might be that they need some quiet spaces at breaks and lunch times. And this is where we also point students in the direction of websites where they can find further support for their mental health. Then if that's an issue, if students are still struggling with their well-being, we have certain interventions that can be made by referral. Wave 2 interventions tend to be done in small groups. So we have growth mindset and grow and rise, and they're group Courses run over about 4 to 6 weeks, and they usually help students' resilience. And then we have what we call our Wave 3 interventions that are again made by referral, and these are more bespoke packages. So we have a therapeutic inclusion room, where there are interventions given, one-to-one interventions. We've got a 42nd Street counsellor, and we have a music therapist. We no longer have a drama therapist, but what we do have instead of that is Anna Freud, which is an online counselling service. So there's a whole range of support there in school. And obviously we can also make referrals to outside services like CAMS, speech and language therapy, educational psychology, and also the school nurse service. Just going to cover a little bit about home learning. Home learning is absolutely crucial in supporting young people to not only make progress in their learning, but also really to get into good habits, particularly when they start to get into Key Stage 4, where the GCSE courses really do require extra study in order for students to achieve well. In 7 and 8, it's a little bit lower key than in 9, 10 and 11. So we expect our 7 and 8 students to do an hour of English, maths and science and reading per week. Obviously that reading can be chunked up. They don't have to do it all at once. They could do 15 minutes a night, which makes it a little bit easier for some students who do struggle to read. They're expected to do 1 hour of languages, and they either do French or Spanish, whichever they're studying. 1 hour a fortnight of each humanities subject, so that's geography, history and EPR. 1 hour a fortnight of computing or technology, and they will have termly creative projects to do in art and in music too. Home learning should kick in properly by week 3. You might find that students have got it already. Just check with them and check on the various platforms that we use. And these are, I'll go through them now. We have a home study site, which is called SharePoint. And this site was created to provide a one-stop shop to home learning and home study. Students can access this in their year team page on Microsoft Teams. And beyond that, there are lots of resources, lots of links to videos and home study activities. Study skills are supported with videos to guide student practice and familiarity with subject habits. And this is accessed through the home study site, which is a student intranet. And they're shown how to do that in school. There's also other platforms that different departments use. So for example, in maths, homework is set on Sparks. It's an hour long for each year group, unless they complete it within the hour, in which case they can do some extra. And homework set on a Wednesday and due in on the next Wednesday. And there's no work set over a holiday. In order to support this, the maths team run a Sparks club in S71 every Thursday after school. So if students are struggling to access Sparks, or if they haven't got access to a computer at home and they need time to do their maths homework, they can go and drop into S71. English, science and computing homework is set on something called EduCake, which is a slightly different platform. Again, it's an hour long for 7 and to 9. So that includes year 8s, obviously, and a little bit longer for Key Stage 4. And then MFL languages is set on something called Quizlet. So there's a whole range. We've got Sparks Maths, EduCake, Quizlet and Microsoft Teams, and students should know their access passwords for this. If they don't, they just need to ask their form tutor, who will be able to help them. So I've said that already about Microsoft Teams. So in terms of supporting home study, we get asked lots how parents can actually support students with their homework. So this is the kind of advice we give. You know, if possible, sit down with your child, discuss their homework plan. You know, they know what they've got over the week. And they you know, it might be useful to help them plan out how they're going to do their homework, when they're going to do it, and looking at maintaining their social calendar as well. You know, they still need to do their after school activities, they still need some downtime, so just making sure you're able to map that out across the week with them. Again, this gets them into good habits when they're starting to study quite intensively at GCSE. Always useful for them to have somewhere they can study, so maybe a quiet space at home. If that's a struggle, the school library is open after school up until about 4 o'clock. So that is a place they can go if they do need a quiet space and there's not one available at home. And it's really important to encourage them to revisit learning from previous lessons. So we often say, you know, before your lesson next day, have a little look through your book, see where you got up to last lesson, and then you're going to be really well prepared for your next lesson. Obviously, we wanted to share with parents the key assessments that students take. We have reading tests annually for students, and these take place electronically and online at the start and end of the year. We also do some tests which are called PASS tests, and these are tests that kind of assess the students' resilience and mental well-being and gives us a lot of information about how we can support students pastorally. So in terms of the cycle of assessments, students do 2 progress tests. They do one just at the beginning of the spring term. So when they come back after the Christmas holidays, there is a testing period. And then again, we give them a test of all that they've learned at the end of the school year in the summer term. And we call this learning cycle 1 and learning cycle 2. And the idea is that they have a good chunk of learning in the autumn term, and everything that they've learned is tested in the spring term, and then a good chunk of learning in the second cycle, and in that progress test in summer 2, it will be everything from the year that is being tested. So it's about focusing on learning from your terms. The tests usually take place over a 2-week period. We do an awful lot to prepare young people with this. So we talk about revision inform times. We help them to put together revision timetables, and we talk to them about different revision skills that they can practice in order to make revision much more manageable for them. For English, Maths and Science, the dates are fixed, so you'll know well in advance exactly what those dates are. The other subjects, they all kind of map that out across that 2 weeks, and you will also be given information about that. You'll get an email in advance, and it will give you information about what is going to be covered in the test, so then you can help your children to prepare for that. Teachers then mark the tests, and you'll receive a report as to how they've done. And obviously after the progress test, teachers do a lot of work in responding to gaps that they've picked up from the marking. We also talk a lot about effort. So when we give assessments of actual progress, we also assess students' effort, and we report back to you as to how well we think we feel they've been working in their lessons and how well they've been applying themselves. Just a little bit about setting now. So in year 8, they are set in the core subjects, so just in English, Maths and Science. In English, there are groups 1, 2, which are the top band, groups 3 and 4, which is kind of a mid band, and groups 5 and 6, which would be the lower band of students. And every group within each band is identical. In year 8, a similar kind of process, and then in year 8 science, sorry, in maths, a similar process, and then in science they're streamed. One thing that really does support young people with their learning, with making progress in school, is reading. It is one of the core things that we like students to develop. It's a really, really important habit to get into, and the importance of reading is undeniable. Research enforces it every year. So here at Chorlton High, we ask for students to read for 20 minutes every day. It doesn't need to be all at once, but in order for it to be effective, it does need to be part of their everyday routine. And we've got a really good library, and our librarians are really supportive, and they're very good at helping students choose books that they should be interested in. Obviously, focusing with students on our learning environment is really important to ensure they feel empowered and challenged, and they're able to follow through their passions and develop as successful learners. And that's something we've been working really hard with young people. We want our learning environment to be calm and focused. We want a learning environment that's habits and routines. And also we have a learning environment that actually embraces struggle and repetition. You know, we learn by making mistakes, and actually building resilience to do that, to make mistakes, to fail and learn from our failures is really, really important. So one of the things that we talk about is being a CHS scholar, and we think about the things that students can do in order to do that best. So in terms of things like organisation and paying attention in class. And how can you help us support, how can you support this with your child? Well, look at their exercise books. When children bring their exercise books home, have a look at them, give them praise for books that are really well presented. Make sure your child's got the stationery they need for school. So a pen, pencil, ruler, glue stick, highlighter, they're the basics that we'd expect them to have in order to be able to look after their exercise books and make good notes. And encourage your child to revisit their learning. You know, make sure that when they have written notes into their exercise books, they're going back and rereading those notes. You know, in order for children to learn effectively, they need to pay attention in class, and that's something that we remind them of, and we try to get them into the habit of. So just, you know, if you could help us with that by ensuring that they come to school ready to learn, that they've had a really good night's sleep, that they've had the electronics put away so they can sleep well. And, you know, maybe when they get home, ask them questions about what they've done in class each day. I know they're quite reluctant to talk about this as they get older, but, you know, it's nice to do that. Something we're really proud of at Chorlton is our enrichment programme. We've got a real commitment to enrichment activities and providing high quality opportunities outside the curriculum. It's really important that a child, you know, embraces all sides of their education, not just the academic, and trying to make themselves fully rounded young people. Extracurricular clubs are going to start week 3, and we've got clubs such as Coding Club, Musical, Movie Makers Club, we've got films clubs, crafternoons, sports clubs. There's a whole variety of different clubs. They'll be bookable through Arbor, and information is going to be sent next week with the clubs that are available and information about how to actually book them. As part of our enrichment offer, we also have extended learning experiences in autumn and in summer. And these are drop-down days where young people get to do things outside of the timetabled curriculum, things that will extend them. So we have things like social action plays that young people can see, and they'll see those through their respect curriculum. And those reflect on key issues in society through the power of theatre, for example, radicalisation, social media, and knife crime. Our students are all vital contributors to the development of our school, and we believe that we're a community, and we celebrate all aspects of that community, not just in school but outside of school as well. And we have a strong commitment to our local, national and global community. Last year we raised funds for a range of charities, including UNICEF and Choose Love. Each year the year group choose their own charity, and it changes each year, and it allows students the opportunity to research and explore key issues about the charity they've chosen, and work as a tutor group to fundraise in school. Year 8s this year are going to be raising money for mental health. Another thing that we, you know, feel is really important and vital is digital safety. We actively encourage all students to keep safe when online and when using digital devices. In terms of passwords and account security, these are the key messages that we include to students. It's really important that they keep their usernames and passwords private for their accounts, and make those passwords as complex as possible, but not so complex that they don't remember them, but also, you know, so that somebody can't easily guess them. And also, we also talk to students about making sure they log out of computers, especially school computers, once they have used them, so that nobody else can use their account. We also talk to them about checking sources of information, making sure that sources of information that they are using are reliable. And we give them key questions, things like questioning the source. Is it fact or opinion based? If it's too good to be true, talking things through with an adult, and making sure they check things with friends as well. Social media, there are loads of social media apps available to students, and these increase each year. It's really hard to keep track of them. Encourage your child to be open about their accounts, which accounts they've got online. Many accounts have got age restrictions, so make sure you're checking those and checking that you're happy that your child has downloaded an account that's suitable for them. And if they are logging onto social media, make sure your child has disabled their location services on their apps. You might want these turned on so their phone will Find My Friends, phone apps on iPhone, but individual apps can have location services turned off. So do make sure you check into that. Being careful about following accounts and algorithms that push content. Newer social media apps like TikTok use quite sophisticated algorithms to select content the user might like to see, and that can become really quite addictive. And it also targets them in terms of advertising, just making sure that the content they're seeing is safe. In terms of screen time in TikTok, accounts for children between the ages of 13 and 17, the screen time is set as default to 1 hour in TikTok. For users who are 12 and under, this is 30 minutes. Accounts can be opened for more viewing time with a passcode, but consider how much screen time you want your child to have watching content. The National Online Safety website has loads of resources for parents. So if you are a little bit like me, I'm not particularly good with digital technology, but if you do need a little bit of support with that, this is a really good website to consult. It tells you about the latest apps and websites that trend with students, and if you have any concerns, you can check them for further guidance. Managing screen time is a big issue for young people, because too much screen time, as you know, can affect quality of sleep, and not sleeping well can affect concentration levels and can affect how they are in school. So encourage your child to mute notifications so they don't get pinged late at night. Maybe even take the phone out of the room at night. They don't need it. If they need an alarm clock, you can get those old-fashioned ones with the big bells and they make enough noise, or the electronic ones. Sometimes it's best just to keep that phone out of reach. Just wanted to touch a little bit about communication with parents. We do actually have a communication charter, and it allows us to work within a communication system that's going to work well for both parents and for teachers. So the summary, it's available on our website to see if you want to read it in full detail, but the summary of the key points that I think it's worth sharing with you are, first of all, around response time. Teachers will respond to an email or a phone call within 3 working days, and it will be within working hours. So it'll be between 8 and 4 or 8 and 5, depending on whether the teacher's at school for that long. Please direct your communication to the relevant curriculum leader or teacher if your query is subject-based, or head of year if it's more general, if it's a more general nature. So if your query is about a particular subject, English, Maths, Science, you can find the heads of departments contact details on the website and direct it to that head of department. If it's more general, if it's a pastoral issue, direct it to your child's head of year. In this case, it would be Miss Osborne. If you're communicating by telephone, please call the main reception. It's likely that during the school day, teachers will be most likely teaching, so it might be difficult to get hold of a teacher, but a message will be taken and they will respond within 3 days. If it is an urgent communication, please do let the receptionist know, and they will try their hardest to contact either your child's head of year, or if they're not available, a member of SLT. And with regards to meetings, they should always be pre-arranged with members of staff. I know sometimes, if you feel something's urgent, you'll come into school to try and deal with it straight away, but that doesn't always work because the staff you need to see might not be available. So please do pre-arrange meetings, and we'll always aim to plan a meeting within 5 working days to see you. If you'd like a summary of this, please do visit our website, and obviously if you've got any questions about it, please do email or ring and ask us about it. Just talk a little bit about Arbor. It can be used to make payments for school, as you know, including school trip, topping up money on students' lunch accounts, and the Arbor shop will also have some items that you may want to purchase, like ties, etc. On Arbor will be information about your child's school day that can be accessed through a desktop, laptop, or a web browser on a phone as well. There isn't an app to download, I'm afraid. Student timetables are available should you need to check the days where student will need a PE kit, although they should be responsible for this. And you can also buy revision guides and books for GCSE courses in the Arbour shop. Arbour and school meals, just a bit about what we offer. I'm sure you know this already from last year. We offer a free breakfast, and every morning your child for free from our canteen can get flapjacks, oat cookies, toast, porridge and fruit. And we also offer free break time snack of porridge, toast or fruit, as well as the things that are available to buy. How can my child make the lunch money go further? Well, get some free fruits. Order a soup and roll for £1. Free school meal allowance is £2.80 a day, and you know that is available there to get a decent full meal from. If they do choose to use this allowance at break time, and some do, it means there's going to be nothing left at lunch. So please advise them to maybe go for the free options at break and then save their £2.80 for their main meal. Some reminders about uniform. Uniform is looking great, as it always does this time of year as students come back in their newly purchased uniforms. Obviously, we know sometimes there are some problems with deliveries and with shops not actually stocking what you need in the right size. And you know, if we do know about that, we can provide uniform from the uniform bank. That is absolutely not a problem. If a child does wear an incorrect item of uniform to school, we will ask them to change into the correct item from their uniform bank, or we might ask a parent to bring this into school if they're available to do this. Just a few safety messages. We did send out a letter to parents this week, some concerns around students being targeted in the park. Unknown members, not students from our school, people we don't know at all. Just to reassure you, we do have staff on duty at the end of the day, and we do have some staff patrolling in the park at the end of the school day as well. But the issue is that these incidents often happen once we finish doing our patrols. So as a school, we're actually working with the local police to address this and to make sure that our young people are safe. These are the messages here that we shared with students yesterday and today. Just reminding them about how to be safe walking to and from school, not walking alone, not stopping and talking to strangers, being safe on the roads, looking both ways, not wearing headphones and actually putting their phones away. The phone can distract young people when they're out and about and kind of not make them aware of keeping their wits about them. So just some basic reminders for young people there about keeping themselves safe. Just touching base on attendance, it does make a big difference to student outcomes and how well students do at school. The research and data prove that if a child is not in school, they can't learn, and it does have a massive impact on what they will come out with in year 11. So just some reminders, our attendance team communicate weekly regarding attendance to students and parents, and this may be an email or text. Our attendance team and pastoral staff, mentors or heads of year or safeguarding staff do home visits if students are missing for a while. And these are home visits designed to support, just, you know, to check in on students, and they will be unannounced. They tend to be unannounced rather than planned. We do also run attendance panels, and if a student is struggling with their attendance or they don't seem to be able to get in as regularly as they should, we'll invite themselves and you to a panel, and where we'll discuss maybe what the reasons are for their absence, talk about the impact on attainment, and think about ways of improving your child's attendance. There's also support we can put in place along with outside services as well. There is something called an early help assessment, and that may be something that we do with you that might bring in some extra support to help you get your child into school. So if you do hear the attendance team talking about those, that is what that's about. And we do hate to do this, but in line with national and local policy, it's now statutory that we issue penalty notices and prosecute. So any child who has 5 days of unauthorised absence or a leave of absence in term time may receive a penalty notice. So it's just being aware of that. And you know, in a positive, we do offer lots of rewards, such as points on Arbor for attendance and punctuality. And that's not just for 100% attendance, it's for students that are showing improved attendance and improved punctuality as well. And we give out for, you know, best form prizes and bigger prizes for the end of term. And finally, from me, just some key dates for Year 8 that you may or may not be aware of. Parents' evening this year will be an online parents' evening. So you will get an email asking you to log on and make appointments online with teachers, and that's going to be on Thursday, the 6th of March. In the autumn term, during autumn 2 and spring 2, we'll send you out some reports that will detail your child's effort in class and effort with homework. It will also report on reward points and on attendance. The academic reports will come out in spring 1 and summer 2 after they've done their progress tests. And, you know, other than that, we do send out half-termly letters, which includes any key information that for half term, any changes to calendars, any plans, any things that are going on. And we also send out the 2-weekly Chorlton Connection newsletter. And that usually includes key student and school celebrations. So information about things that we've been doing in school that your child might have been part of, and some celebrations of our community and what we do together. So folks, that is it from me. This session has been recorded and it will go onto the website. So if you know anyone that's missed it, that might want to look through it, or if I've gone so fast that you need to have another look at it, it will be there. It's been lovely to be able to kind of see so many people here. I know we can't have conversations and I can't see faces, but it's lovely to see that so many of you have managed to get here and attend. If you do have any questions following this, please do either drop an email or give us a call, and we'll try and answer those questions as best as possible. But for now, thank you, and I look forward to working with you and your children over this academic year.